Hello, and welcome to something new and something story driven. This would be the story driven thing that I was talking about. There were a few candidates, and those candidates will be left in the bag or in the chamber if you like or prefer. For another day, a rainy day maybe, but I've been kind of hankering to try this game. I say try, I've never played this one. So I have played a little bit of Sunless Skies, just a little bit, enough to know that it's a very deep game. That's a pun. Did you get it? I did. There. It's just for you. Happy Valentine's. Actually, that was yesterday. It's Valentine's as I record this, but I'm putting this up tomorrow. So anyway, uh, it would probably be ill-advised to do this one first before Sunless Skies. I understand that some people are going to question that decision. Let me give you my reasoning. I prefer space as a theming, and I've heard that this one is a little bit lighter on the mechanical side of things. The first one is very heavy with many layering mechanics and layering things that you have to kind of really get your hands dirty with. And as much as I usually enjoy that, sometimes it's nice to just kind of jump into something a little bit less extreme. Now, I could be completely wrong about that. Either way, trains in space sounds pretty cool to me, and I'm invested already. So if you don't know what any of this is, let me give you a quick introduction. Basically, Sunless Skies is a sequel to Sunless Seas, which is a sequel to Fallen London, which was a huge world and flash game way back, which is basically borderline a visual novel, borderline a lot of things, but basically it's London underground, either underwater or in this instance, perhaps in space, not sure. Quite, the details are a little fuzzy, don't know. But hey, anyway, that's it. It's going to be a lot of reading, so you can expect a lot of audiobook stuff going on, some decision making, and also slight sandboxy management of resources, as well as exploration of perhaps big-ish space map. That's where I'm fuzzy on. But hey, Sunless Skies, let's get into it. If you die, you can only continue with a new captain. This is the Legacy campaign. If you die, you can reload or continue with a new captain. Let's try the Legacy campaign. And the reason is not to necessarily make the game harder on myself, but because it will, I guess, make my story a bit more personal. That is the story. Aiming assistance only if you player weapons arc towards enemies. This is all standard. I'm going to let it go as is. Locomotives with white running lights are not hostile. Log of Her Majesty's locomotive, the Orphean, March 14th, 1905. Our expedition to the domains of the dead has been eventful. The Orphean is damaged and in grievous need of repairs and supplies. We are returning in haste to the Reach, where I hope to make port at New Winchester. May God be with us, for 1,000 deaths wait in the sky. Final entry of Captain Amelia Charity Whitlock, written before her death. All right. We are at Blue Kingdom Transit Relay. So here is our train. I kind of love this already, honestly. You have returned to the Reach, an untamed sunless span of the heavens, London's new frontier, a celestial garden run wild. We can dodge. Ooh. Oh, it's a bit of a cooldown on that. Interesting. Your journey back from the Blue Kingdom was tumultuous. Your locomotive is damaged, and Captain Whitlock badly wounded. As first officer, the crew look to you. The nearest station is New Winchester. Can you get the Orphean there safely? Toggle cruise control. Scavenge. Much to the relief of your stokers, you find a barrel of fuel among the detritus. There's the Ozymandias. A wreck drifts here, less fortunate even than you. We shall scavenge her for repairs, a crewman suggests. The wreck hangs in the sky, pocked with recent gunfire. You and the boarding party don your sky suits, garments of waxed canvas, aligned with felt to protect against the cold of the sky. Two of the crew are whispering as they dress. What business did Captain Whitlock have in the Blue Kingdom anyway? Why the devil did we trespass on the districts of the dead? You silence him. Now's not the time. Leap across to the wreck. The gap between the two engines isn't wide, but the endless fathoms of heaven gape beneath it. You jump. Your stomach lurches with a vertigo as the stars blaze above you and below. The air of the heavens is thin and torn by unpredictable winds. When your boots hit the running board of the Ozymandias and your leather-gloved hands fumble for a hold, one of your companions throws you a line, and you lash the two engines together. Only then do the rest of the boarding party follow you. One of them forces open an exterior hatch, and you clamber inside. Her interior is cold, unlit and whistling in the wind. With wind. Your party's lamps spread buttery light over the narrow paneled passages. You make your way towards the hold, stepping over bodies crumpled in the corridor. Unfortunately, your way is blocked. A bulkhead has been mangled inward by a well-aimed barrage. Choice: clear the obstruction away or lead your party on a more precarious path. Clear the obstruction. You locate a length of pipe to use as a pry bar and set to work. This will test your iron skill. Iron is the skill of confronting and overcoming. The other is veils is the skill of deceiving and evading. Your veils gives you a 75% chance of success, whereas our iron gives us also a 75% chance of success. So, go back out onto the Ozymandias hull, climb past the blockage, and enter through a window on the far side, and do so carefully. Let's do that. Failure. The rest of the boarding party follow you without enthusiasm. You recall the first time you climbed outside an engine, helping the captain fix a leak in an exterior pipe. The wind had shrieked, buffeting at you. You asked the captain what would happen if you slipped. You fall, she answered tersely. But where to? You asked. She looked down, then up, then back again. The sky's depths spiraled all about you. Away, she said, and you heard her fear. Back in the present, you tumble back into the Ozymandias through a shattered window. Your party spill in after you, teeth chattering, eyes wide with that familiar terror. You've gained 2 terror, now a new total of 7. You have reached the Ozymandias hold, a ruin of smashed cargo and spilled supplies. Hopefully, somewhere amidst the detritus, you can find parts to repair the Orphean and restock your stores. Your companions work quickly. The Ozymandias hull has begun to creak. Your actions on board may have compromised its integrity. Conduct a thorough search. Renewed. You find enough food and gear to restock your supplies, and enough spare parts to make necessary repairs to the Orphean. The food will need to be thoroughly thawed, of course, but you've eaten worse in the skies. "Oh-ho!" cries one of your party, prying the lid off a long crate. It holds a cannon, still nestled in straw. Another crewman pulls a battered birdcage from a pile of ruined cargo. Within the cage, something winged and furred opens a sullen eye. You examine your finds. You've gained 4 supplies and 15 hull, new total of 30. The Ozymandias emits a long, juddering creak. Your boarding party exchange nervous glances. From the chaos of its hold, you have retrieved repairs and supplies, and discovered some useful equipment, a gun that could be mounted on your locomotive, and an educated bat. or mount the Jerusalem cannon on the Orpheon, or liberate a diffident bat and employ it as a scout. Oh, this is an animal. Heavens are wide, so locomotives use scouts, like bats, to locate things of interest. Ports, resources, wrecks, like this one, to scavenge. You can claim both this and the cannon. I chose the cannon, but I thought I could choose both. The Cotterell and Hethersage Jerusalem fires single shells to a good range, more or less accurately. You order 2 of your party to get it back to your vessel and fit it immediately. The Ozymandias groans again. The structure shudders, spasmodically. Liberate a diffident bat and employ it as a scout. The bat treats its rescue as an inconvenience and immediately begins haggling over pay. You offer to put it back in its damn cage and leave it on the Ozymandias, at which point it becomes more polite. You doubt it will last. You now have a diffident bat. The Ozymandias emits a long, juddering creak. You might find more fuel there, but you had better hurry. The Ozymandias is beginning to tear apart. This is not without risk. Let's return to the Orpheon. You lead your boarding party back to your vessel, unshackling her from the buckling Ozymandias. You stoke your engines and steam away, restocked, repaired, and rearmed. The crew give a ragged cheer. Onwards. You can expect a lot more like that. Press F to send out your scout. Cost supplies. Okay. Your scout has discovered something. To see what it is, open your chart. Your scout has discovered something. What is it? We don't know. Let's go find out. There's a baddie over there. A marauder. Summoned by Captain Whitlock. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodgepodge of curios from across the sky. Captain Whitlock lies in bed, black marks over her skin like a monstrous brand. When she coughs, coils of acrid smoke pour from her lungs. Inquire after the captain's injuries. The locomotive's doctor attends her. Her lips are tight. The captain opens her eyes as you draw near. She attempts to smile. I approach the bedside. Her mouth is blistered from the blue fires that dance on her tongue. Her hands grip your arm. Her skin is hot as a kettle. Made arrangements. The Orpheon will be yours. Her voice is just a rasp of burned meat breath. But promise, she breaks off to scream a word in a language that was not made for human mouths. When she resumes speaking English, she is weaker, her request little more than a gasp. Promise me one last service. Promise. Whatever it is, you'll see it done. Demand to know why she took the Orpheon to the Blue Kingdom. It was folly to visit one of the lands of the dead. Now you are all paying the price. She laughs, a sound like wood snapping on the fire. Ash sprays from her mouth. It was worth it, she swears. Her voice is suddenly firm, her eyes hard and bright. Let's hide this advice for now. Then she sinks back into the scorched pillows and a twisting, frantic fever. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodge... Oh, we already did this. Take your leave. You have an engine to command. You leave the cabin and the scorched stink of its air beneath and return to the bridge. New Winchester is further than you'd like, and the captain hasn't long left. Onwards. So, supposedly we can go in this direction? No, we have to go south. Which means we're going to have to fire. This is a marauder. Things are a little bit turn-based, not quite. It's more like there's, you know, a cooldown to things. I've hit it. I'm going to be describing my actions somewhat because I'm going to assume that at a certain point, most people are going to have this in the background and not necessarily paying full attention to it. It is, it's pretty audio based, so loot. The Reach Marauder is defeated. You prepare to board the buckled wreckage, poised to plunder the plunderers. Behind you, someone is humming a song of victory. Raid the remains. Strip it, rip it for repairs. Scavenge the Marauder's plating and components to repair the damaged Orphean. I'm not sure how damaged the Orphean actually is. This will give you a small weapon that you can equip while in dock, or sell it to an equipment shop. Let's get the weaponry. A rare find. Your crew return in one piece and bearing the spoils of your victory. It was a right devil to remove, Captain, says the lead engineer. Hope you'll make good use of it. The Marauder cannon launches chunks of jagged, superheated rock via a brutally basic mechanism. Simple, ruthless, effective. So now, with that obstacle out of the way, we can press on. We want to take a look at what the scout found for us. I'll go ahead and put the cruise control on. I do really love the look at this. It's, you know, it doesn't feel like space, but that's okay. You know, sometimes, you know, space can feel a little bit generic, if you know what I mean. I love the idea of, like, oh, we got to New Winchester. Experience gained. I love the idea of, like, a train station in space is possibly just one of the neatest looking or sounding conceptual, you know, I don't know, mental illustrations. Like, just the visual concept of it. It really is awesome. I love it. So we dock at New Winchester. You coast into the bustle, the din, the soot, and the steam of Wolvesey Station. It is clogged with other engines, scrappy mining locomotives from Lustrum Way, weathered explorers gleaming with frost, sleek company vessels with bright brass fittings. No sooner have you pulled into the sidings than a brusque station master bustles over. He requests to come aboard. I must speak with your captain, he insists, brandishing a ledger. The usual formalities. Look to the Orphean's doctor. He has just appeared at your shoulder. His face is solemn. His hat is in his hands. He lowers his eyes. The crew exchange bleak, wordless looks. The Orphean itself feels suddenly more empty. The station master looks confused. You inform him that, unfortunately, Captain Whitlock has just passed. Ah, he says neutrally. Sorry to hear that. Very sad. Very sad. He waits for what he considers an appropriate minute and a half before continuing. Alas, even amidst tragedy, the cogs of bureaucracy must turn. If Captain Whitlock is deceased, the station authority require their answers from the first officer. He dons a set of spectacles and locates his pen. It will be relatively painless. Name, background, purpose of visit, etc. Shall we begin? And thus our character begins to take shape. Look at just the visuals are so nice in this game. Today, London lies between the stars. Her new empire unfolds across the heavens. But 10 years ago, before the northern gate was opened, before the renewed empress led her people into the skies, it lay in a vast cavern far beneath the earth. Deep, dark, marvelous. Who were you then? Street urchin? A soldier? A poet? An academic? A priest? A sailor? You roved the mournful, merciless waters of the Untersee. You will begin with high iron, the skill of confronting and overcoming. A ministry auditor. A revolutionary. Kind of like the idea of a poet. You will begin with high hearts, the skill of convincing and enduring. An academic, a student of the sciences, the arts of philosophy. High mirrors, the skill of investigating and deducing. It's gonna be between a poet and an academic. The rest of it doesn't really resonate with me, to be honest. Let's do a poet. Poetry was popular in Old London. Some poets sought fame, others art. Some simply enjoyed bohemian. I almost said it. Bohemian company. Three preeminent artistic movements have come to prominence. Which are your works most associated with? The Celestials? In Old London, they wrote nostalgically of the surface and the sun. Now they write of the stars and the treasures of heaven. The Nocturnals, a radical outlawed school that delights in freedoms found in the dark. Or the Sovereign School, a new tradition born in the Empress court. Their works are patriotic, bombastic, and occupied with the iconography of time, clocks and seasons and sand and so forth. Increases your iron, the skill of confronting. Increases your veils, the skill of deceiving. Increases your mirror, the skills of investigating. I kind of like the sound of the Celestials, to be honest. Choose your ambition. What does winning mean to you? Wealth, fame, the truth. The truth is always, I think, the one for me. Even the stars have secrets, but they won't keep them from you. A message from an old friend begins an unwise quest to learn a secret that the stars hide. What drives you? Curiosity? Justice? Insolence? Whatever it is, it will be tested. Be warned, this is a demanding ambition, best played by a lineage that has already completed wealth or fame. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, then I might try something else. Gather stories of your exploits and write about them in New Winchester. Okay, let's try fame then. You will immortalize your exploits in the song of the sky. For centuries, people have launched themselves into the unknown in the hope of making a name for themselves. You're sure you'll succeed. After all, you never heard of anyone who didn't. Yes. Well, that doesn't make sense to me. Okay. But either way, I mean, this makes sense for a poet, doesn't it? A little bit. We can change our look. Let's look through. I kind of like that hat. This one's a little bit, no. Top hat. Okay, so that's it. So I like this hat. Hair isn't going to matter too much. That one, that's fine. Brow. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, this works. I might see if I can't find something. Yeah, that looks good. I'm almost like Captain Haddock here. Now I'm really Captain Haddock. Term of address: specialist, doctor, professor, officer, archivist, principal, administrator, secretary, intendant, nurse, comrade, brother, sister, reverend, madam, sir, citizen, captain, my lord, my lady. None of those really work for me, to be honest. It's just sir is fine. And, you can randomize them. This will determine what people call your captain, but your captain's gender is up to you. Flynn, Evans, Donaldson, Short, Carrington, Donaldson. I got Donaldson twice there. Monty, Watson, Patel, Forsyth, McLennan. I like McLennan. Sir McLennan. Sounds good. Create your captain. Start the game. 3 weeks have passed. This morning, Captain Whitlock received a simple memorial service. Her body was consigned to a necropolis train bound for the serene mausoleum. Okay. Now you sit with a handful of her relatives in the threadbare offices of her solicitors. A methodical notary is reading the will. The captain was wealthy once, but squandered her capital on mysterious expenses before her expedition to the Blue Kingdom. Listen to the end. The captain's relatives, from whom she was mostly estranged, are clearly wondering why you were here. In a final codicil, I don't know that word. It's probably common, and I'm not sure what it means. I'm sorry. The notary announces, Captain Whitlock confirmed that the possession of the Orphean was to pass to its first officer. He peers at you with dry gray eyes. This includes a certain black box contained in the Orphean's hold. Captain Whitlock's final request was that, at a time of your choosing, you transport said box to an address in London. He hands you an address card. And deposit it here. Deposit it there. You are not to look inside. She gave no explanation. And that's it. You're captain now. The Orphean is yours. You have been bequeathed a large black box which once belonged to Captain Whitlock. You now have 100 sovereigns. The clamorous central station of New Winchester. a place of steam and smut and thundering iron. Here you can find people willing to pay for a skilled captain's service. Before you leave New Winchester, it may be prudent to buy more supplies. You can buy them at the Victoria Market. To visit the market, select it from the menu. Your scouts have discovered something. Okay, we're good. Recruit the incautious driver. I specialize in test driving, but I'm looking for something quieter. An opportunity. The fastidious inspector. Investigate the black box. Follow your ambition. The song of the sky. The song of the sky looms in your mind, an unfinished monument. Repair your locomotive. The engineers at the Wolvesey yards claim they can repair anything, whether the damage was caused by an unfortunate collision, a point-blank salvo, or the charge of a crotchety cantankery. They'll fix it. Fully repair your hull. This will cost 3 sovereigns per hull point you've lost. You've lost 9 sovereigns. An occurrence. Your hull quality is now 30. Mechanics take pride in their work. Your newly returned engine is now fully repaired. It gleams. Okay, so this is where we can take a look at New Winchester. We can check out the shops. Victoria Market. Yeah. The engineers, they'll fix it. Yeah, leave. Okay. Let's check out Victoria Market. We'll need more supplies. How much supplies? Who can say? Who can say? I don't know. And this is difficult to decipher, to be honest. Is this how much I have, and then this is how much I need? Oh, well, a best way to find that out, I think, is to buy one and then see what happens. I'll buy 2 fuel, and now that number is 4, so that tells me that, I have more fuel. These cost 20 each. That explains that. So now we have enough. Your hold is almost full. Look for opportunities to use or sell some of your cargo. If necessary, you can also jettison unwanted cargo from the hold panel to create room for something more important. Here you can swap between shops and stories. Okay. Selling. We might want to sell that extra weapon we got. Cask of Navartine gemstones. Oh, we don't have any of that. We just have supplies. What happened to that gun we had? Bank. Buying. Okay, well, we're done there. No. Explore. Abraham's Engineering. Maybe we can sell there. Selling. Cotterell and Hathersedge Jerusalem. That sounds like the cannon. No nonsense common or garden armament for the Skyfarer on a budget. I don't really see anything else. Okay. Buying. Well, I wonder if we need ammo. Doesn't seem like it. Keep pressing the wrong button. Bazaar. Let's check out the bazaar. Gather at the bazaar to trade goods and information. Here you can acquire prospects, opportunities to sell a good at a distant port for an excellent price. Accept the prospect to claim it, source the goods, and deliver them. New prospects available in 30 days. Seeds for Magdalenes. Magdalenes provides comfort and sympathy to the weary Skyfarer. Its host will tell you any lie you need to hear. Some of those lies require flowers. The amenable host wants up to 3 sacks of verdant seeds and will pay 80 sovereigns for each. Magdalenes lies to the northwest of New Winchester. Lord, souls for Port Prosper. Lord Blank of Port Prosper requires 3 consignments of souls for an infernally themed party to celebrate his diamond wedding anniversary. The quality of the souls is immaterial, and their function will be purely decorative. God save the Queen, etc. Prosper lies to the northeast of New Winchester. Let's get some seeds. Claimed. Verdant seeds can be reliably purchased at Hybris, or the Lead Beater and Stainrod Nature Reserve. We'll take that for now. Continue to explore. We'll see engine yard. We can hold out on that. Repair your locomotive, hire on crew. Let's look at an opportunity, the fastidious inspector. Excuse me, Captain. A woman pushes through the crowds towards you. She is short and square-shouldered, in a neat black suit and polished shoes. She shows you the case of her pocket watch. It is embossed with the crown and hourglass of London's horological office. The body responsible for ensuring time is consistent across the empire. I'm hoping to book a passage to Port Prosper, she says, slipping the watch away. I can, of course, pay. Pay sounds reasonable or promising. Thank you. The locomotive I was on broke down following a boiler rupture. The chief engineer's fault, I suspect. A gentleman fonder of brandy than of diligence. Here, an initial sum to seal our bargain. Prosper lies to the north-northeast of New Winchester. Not that there is such a thing as north, south, east, or indeed west out here. Instead, London cartographers picked 4 of the brighter, more reliable stars visible from the Empress' new palace and named them north, east, south, and west. Londoners value familiarity. You've gained 50 sovereigns. Okay, so we want to go to Prosper. We can explore. What are stories? Wolfsea Station. The clamoring central station of New Winchester, a place of steam. Yep. We've read this one. We could explore the city. The smoggy, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart of the Reach. An ever-expanding port of soot, smudged glass, and bright steel, spilling across a drifting, mist-wrapped archipelago. Its factories thunder, its engines sheds rings with hammers and hiss with steam. Locomotives chug into sidings for repair, or flare across the sky and away into the high wilderness. Visit the Promise of Days, a club where seasoned captains gather to trade stories and share advice with younger skyfarers. Old pistons gleam on the walls. The shelves are crowded with mementos from across the sky. The clientele raise their voices to be heard above the comforting clamor of the adjacent engine yards. You may find helpful advice here. Introduce yourself to the seasoned captains. They are always happy to offer words of advice, sometimes many words. Instructions. 4 are gathered at the usual table. The masked citizen, a libertine, polymath, and pioneer of the neo-nocturnal artistic school. The bedeviled didact. Didact? A scholar haunted by his discoveries. The plucky baroness, explorer, collector, philatelist. Not sure. And spatchcocker Meg, who hunts monsters. I'm butchering this, I'm sorry. Of course, everything out here is jolly dangerous, says the Baroness. Few risk the skies, so news of distant ports is valuable. Collect port reports from the places you visit and deliver them to Victory Hall or Company House. The more you turn in at once, the more they'll pay. Look for other opportunities on the way, advises the masked citizen. Passengers who want transport, rich men in need of bloody work, etc. Ask them how to make your fortune through trade. Between them, they've carried Navartine gemstones from Eleutheria, souls to the Blue Kingdom, and raw hours to London. Have any tips? The didact says, fiddling with his innumerable talismans, an essential topic. Meg slides you a stool, and the captain shuffles around to make room. The masked citizen buys you a drink of their own invention. It is violet and foggy. The plucky baroness gives you a brisk, encouraging grin. Ask away. Trading opportunity. Ask them if they know of a good prospect available. Where might you learn of these opportunities? How can you buy and sell goods? You can sell practically anything at a big trade hub like New Winchester, the Baroness answers. If you want to buy, though, you'll need to travel to more distant ports. Each specializes in a particular export. Meg chews spits chewing tobacco onto the floor. No money in buying at market prices and selling at them too, though. You want to look at bargains or prospects of people offering better money. Buy cheap, sell dear. You can sell, not buy, any trade good at a major port. Lesser ports each sell a single good. You can see what a port exports by selecting it on your chart. Where might you learn of these opportunities? Mass citizen sips their drink. The biggest port in each region has a bazaar where captains do business. There you'll learn of people at other ports prepared to pay over the odds for a commodity. When you accept the commission for a prospect, it's yours. So no other captain will pursue it. It's all fantastically civilized. Their smile is droll. You'll have to source the goods for yourself, of course, says the bedeviled didact. Find a port that exports them. The client will want a certain amount. You can supply some or all of it. But if you provide all they need, they may furnish you with an additional reward. Accept prospects in the bazaars. At major ports, you can accept up to 4 at once. You may review and abandon them at the locomotive screen. Okay, bid them goodbye. So I think I'm going to leave this episode here. And in the next one, we're going to pursue some of our current quests. We have we have many. Whitlock's Legacy, Ambition, The Song of the Sky, Rumored Opportunities, Trading Opportunity. We have the Fastidious Inspector and the... we've already completed that. But we have to source something. Trading Opportunity. Verdant Seas from the Bazaar at Port Avon. I don't know... Port Avon lies to the east of New Winchester, while Magdalene's lies to the northwest of New Winchester. So why don't we take this on? Something simple in the next episode. A trading opportunity. I hope you will enjoy this series, and I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, definitely hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content like this. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.